And we begin tonight with breaking news.
Thankfully, no one was hurt. This is an area that has heavy pedestrian and vehicular traffic, and the fact that no one was injured is very fortunate.
Breaking now tonight, a live look in downtown Syracuse where a portion of the railroad bridge in downtown Syracuse has collapsed, causing closures in the area, bringing rail traffic to a halt. This is a live look tonight at West Onondaga Street and South Clinton Street downtown. Emergency crews, you can see, have blocked off the area. As the mayor just said, fortunately, no one was hurt. It is the big story today. Good evening, everyone. I'm Megan Coleman. Matt is off tonight. Still an active scene there tonight. Federal, state, and local leaders descending on downtown today, trying to piece together how this happened and prevent it from happening again. We are expected to get an update from investigators any minute now, and we're going to take you there live as that begins. Here's another look at the partial bridge collapse on the map to give you a sense as to where this is. Again, West Onondaga Street and South Clinton Street. So this is not too far from Armory Square and some of the busy areas of downtown.
The bridge that collapsed, West Onondaga and Clinton. Entry Company 1 and the squad, your signal lady is now a bridge collapse.
That was sound from Broadcastify. Calls of a possible bridge collapse came in just after 1 o'clock today. Mayor Ben Walsh says the bridge is owned by the New York Susquehanna and Western Railway Company. We reached out to officials from that company today, and here's what they told us. Quote, right now we are sending our inspectors and engineers and the president of the company to Syracuse, where they're coordinating cleanup efforts with local officials. We have live team coverage for you tonight, and we begin with our Carolina Quixano. She's on scene with late details. Carolina?
Well, Megan, as you can see, a lot of debris here, and the road still closed off as the investigation into this collapse continues. It's a busy area where cars and pedestrians go through daily, so the fact that no one was hurt is almost as surprising as the collapse itself. It happened just after 1 p.m. today. Officials were at the scene within minutes. The area affected was the sidewall of the elevated railroad track on Clinton and West Onondaga Street. Mayor Ben Walsh says he's been in contact with Susquehanna and Western Railroad, the owner of railroad tracks and bridge. Their chief of railroad police was on scene today as well. Walsh says he's also in touch with county, state, and federal governments. He tells us they will be reviewing video footage from surveillance cameras in this area, and the city will be collecting the necessary information to ensure this doesn't happen again. Syracuse Police Chief Frank Fowler says it does not appear that anything struck the bridge prior to its collapse, and that the last train had passed hours before it happened.
We want to make sure we see every condition report that's been produced. The city does not have jurisdiction to oversee those condition reports. It's the jurisdiction of the Federal Railroad Administration. So we've been in touch with Congressman Caco's office, who's reaching out to the FRA, and we're going to make sure we're looking at all those documents. We want to make sure that every bridge is safe, in addition to dealing with this specific situation.
As you can see, the debris is well out into the roadway, and we were very fortunate that we didn't have a vehicle either sitting here idle or driving through the area at the time of the collapse.
At this time, all rail traffic has been stopped. No word yet on when it will reopen. We will continue to follow the story for you. For now, reporting live in Syracuse, I'm Carolina Quixano.
And again, that news conference expected to get underway any minute now. We'll take you back there live. Carolina, thanks. Our team coverage continues now with our Tara Gibbons. She's on scene with community reaction to this tonight. Tara.
And Megan, the scene is still very active. We are waiting for the press conference that we're supposed to begin at 5 o'clock. But as you can see, law enforcement are still blocking off the intersection of Clinton and West Onondaga. You can see part of it is still down where part of the bridge collapsed, where a lot of people we spoke with this afternoon say they've never seen anything like it. Now, city leaders say they're aware at how popular this stretch of road is. Many people walking along here and driving on these streets. The police chief telling us it's too soon when they will open this back up to traffic. Now, folks we spoke to watched the bridge's sidewall fall down, bringing down wires. They're just glad nobody was hurt.
I've never seen anything like this. It was just like the first part of the bridge just fell, and then the second part just hit the light and fell. It was crazy. It was a loud crash.
Been around the earthquakes out west, but nothing like this here.
Now, Mayor Ben Walsh says city crews are working to make sure the area is safe before it reopens. Reporting live in Syracuse, I'm Terry Gibbons.
All right, Terry Gibbons live for us tonight. And again, we will bring that live news conference just as soon as it gets underway tonight. Let's go now to the mayor, who is just now beginning this briefing.
Western Railroad, County Emergency Management, joined here by our police chief, our fire chief, Dan Weirs, head of County Emergency Management, and the deputy mayor. As it stands right now, an engineering analysis being conducted by NYS&W is ongoing. They are on the tracks right now and continuing to do their inspection, determine the extent of the problems. No immediate cause of the sidewall collapse has been determined. The railroad company NYS&W has confirmed with us that they intend to remove a third section of the sidewall that remains standing over concerns of its structural integrity. So we will see that third section work on that start likely later this evening. At the same time, they're also mobilizing a crew to come in and begin cleanup of what is currently still on the street from the initial collapse. The area is continuing to be secured in the interest of public safety. So we have the roads closed off, and the area is restricted from vehicular and pedestrian traffic. We can't stress enough how important it is that everyone stays clear of the site until the extent of the problems has been determined and all parties involved determine that it's safe for, again, vehicular and pedestrian access. Department of Public Works has initiated the construction of a fence, which is starting to go up right now. We will have the entire perimeter fenced off by this evening, and again, we will continue to keep this area restricted until further notice. Finally, rail service again. Thank you. In conjunction with County Emergency Services and New York State, we are also bringing in special lighting, which will keep the area lit this evening and as long as it takes to fully address the situation. So we thank our partners at the county and state for their support there. Rail service was stopped shortly after the collapse and will remain stopped until further notice. Anything else? I think that covers it. Happy to answer any more questions. I will also mention that we do have representatives from the Federal Railroad Administration on site as well inspecting.
Any timeline? I know it's early, but in terms of how long this may take to get back to normal?
No, again, these inspections are ongoing and everything that's in place now will continue to be so until further notice.
A resident living in the area mentioned that she had seen parts of the structure crumbling on Monday and made calls to City Hall. Were there any reports throughout the week before today of any issues with the structure?
I'm not aware of any complaints or reports being made relative to the bridge prior to the incident.
Any other structures in the city that you're going to be inspecting after this?
Yes, we've had conversations with NYS&W, and they've confirmed with us that upon completion of the inspection of this section of the elevated railroad track, they will be continuing with a full inspection of all sections of the elevated railroad track as it extends throughout the city.
Is there going to be anything shut down before that's done, just in the meantime, in case the other structures are at risk?
Again, at this point, we are not aware of any other imminent risks, public safety risks. At any point that we are made aware of those, we'll take the necessary precautions. But at this point, we're focused on addressing the current situation and working with the railroad company as they inspect the remainder of the elevated track.
Any challenges, because this isn't necessarily the city's jurisdiction, any challenges in working and coordinating with the NYS&W?
Well, up to this point, the communication with the railroad company and with the FRA has been consistent and ongoing, and we expect that to continue. So as long as that's the case and all parties are being held accountable, then we'll continue on the current path.
Would you advise members of the public to not go under any of the bridges, or
again, the only immediate situation that we're aware of is the one that we're standing in front of. We have We requested that the railroad company inspect the remainder of the elevated section of railroad, and they agreed to do so. Again, at any point where we are being provided with information that leads us to believe that there's a public safety risk, we will act accordingly, and that's what we're doing here today.
I know you touched on this earlier, but can you talk a little bit about, this is a big pedestrian area, huge. There's always people around.
Yeah.
Just the fact that nobody was under there seems kind of like almost miraculous.
We are very fortunate that no one was hurt. This is a heavily trafficked area, both for pedestrians and vehicles, not to mention the train traffic, and for no one to be injured as a result of this incident is, again, very fortunate. And now our focus is to continue to make sure that no one is injured, whether it's on this site or anywhere else along the rail corridor.
How old is this structure?
Still tracking down the specific time frame of it.
Any plans to inspect other properties owned by the city?
Well, again, the city, for properties that we own, we have our own inspection processes in place, coordinated by our Department of Engineering. If anyone has questions about specific sites, we're happy to try to address those. But as I've said, in this particular case, the ownership is with NYS&W, and the jurisdiction is with the Federal Railroad Administration. So those are the parties that we're currently working with.
When was the last inspection done on this particular section?
We're still tracking down that information.
I know you touched on this earlier, but to understand this better, so NYSW confirmed that they have done their annual inspections, so they are not reporting to the city when they're doing those inspections?
Those inspections are made available to the Federal Railroad Administration upon request. I have since requested that the railroad provide all available reports to us, and as they develop new information relative to the inspection that has commenced today, we've requested and they've agreed to provide us with all that information as well.
But they've never been required to give that to
That's correct. The city of Syracuse does not have any jurisdiction.
Do you know when you might get those reports?
I've asked as soon as possible, so we'll let you know when that happens.
And you haven't personally reviewed the last inspection report for this section yet?
That has not yet been made available to us.
I'm sure this is kind of secondary, but the traffic light, do you know, will that be, I know you said temporary lighting, did you mean like that?
Well, what we're talking about is lighting to light up the area so it's safe, and so anyone that's working can continue to work through the evening to clear up any immediate public safety risk. We did lose a traffic light as a result of the incident, so we'll have to get that back up at the right time. But again, right now the focus is maintaining public safety, getting this area cleared, and ensuring that it's safe.
Though the city has no jurisdiction, has the city ever had a practice of requesting the inspections or any documentation from S&W in the past?
No.
Does the city plan to have police remain in this area to make sure no one comes in?
Chief, do you want to speak to the?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Have any costs been ruled out?
I think it's too early to speak. It's an ongoing investigation.
And these roads will stay closed
until further notice.
All right, once again, you are listening to a live news conference from Syracuse Mayor Ben Walsh as he talks about this partial collapse of this railway track. Here's a couple of the takeaways from that press conference if you're just now joining us. No immediate cause right now as to why this collapse happened, but we do know that railroad officials are in town. They're going to be removing part of a sidewall over concerns that more of it may come crumbling down. That work will likely begin tonight. Again, as we take these live pictures, you can see here in downtown Syracuse. This is West Onondaga Street and Clinton Street in downtown Syracuse. We do know that the rail service is going to remain stopped in that area until further notice. Crews are going to be inspecting the full railway track that goes through the city of Syracuse. The city requested that from the railroad company to inspect the other sections to make sure that other portions are not vulnerable as well. They are blocking this area off to cars and pedestrians as the cleanup begins tonight. Also, that other portion of the sidewall as that comes down tonight as well. So no traffic in that area. They're asking people to stay away. We're going to continue to follow that situation live in downtown Syracuse, and we will bring you more as we get it.